So in today's video, we are going to be making some sugar water nectar for hummingbird feeders. Now, it's very important that you only use white granulated sugar. Do not use molasses, raw sugar, brown sugar. Those are very harmful for hummingbirds. You want to just use your everyday white sugar. And we're going to be doing this recipe basically as a 4-to-1 ratio. So what that means is we're going to do, let's say, 4 cups of water to 1 cup of sugar. If you have a lot of feeders, you might do 8 cups of water to 2 cups of sugar. So it's always a 4-to-1. Now the recipe I typically use, I've got it written on this bottle here, 6 cups of water to 1.5 cups of sugar. This works great for my 4 hummingbird feeders. It actually fills all 4 feeders up right to the top, but honestly, it's a little bit too much. The birds never drink that much, and I end up throwing much of it away. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just go ahead and stick to a 4 cups water, 1 cup sugar. And the way I like to do this is use a 2-liter bottle and a funnel, and this makes it very, very simple. Now, the first thing I do is put the sugar in, because what we need to do is get some hot water in here to basically melt this sugar and liquefy it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the sugar in first. And like I said, we are going to use 1 cup of sugar. So this is a 1/2 cup. Okay, so here's a 1/2 cup. We're going to do one more 1/2 cup. Okay. So now we're going to have 1 full cup of white sugar in here. Let that get drained. Now I've already ran the water, so it's hot. And now this is what I do personally. We're going to do 4 cups of water, and what I'm going to do is use 2 cups of hot water, and then I'm going to shake this so it sort of melts and liquefies the sugar. Then I'm going to put 2 cups of cold water to balance out the temperature. Otherwise, you don't want to put out really hot temperatured water into these feeders, and you don't really want to put out cold water. So this is a nice blend where it just mixes it perfectly, and you can put the feeders right out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do 2 cups of hot. Let this warm up real quick. Okay. All right, so here's cup number 1. I find it helpful if you say things out loud. It'll help you remember where you're at here. All right, here is cup number 2. So what I do after I get half of the water in there is I shake it up. Been doing this for a long time, and I've never had any issues. This sugar is now completely dissolved. Now I'm going to switch this to cold water, and we're going to do 2 more cups. So now we've got that 4-to-1 ratio. 4 cups water, 1 cup sugar. And you can adjust that as you need, just as long as you stick to the 4-to-1 ratio. I'm doing a little bit less this time, and I'm not going to put as much in my feeders since it's really hot outside and this stuff spoils, and you're really supposed to change it every other day. You'll get mold growth, and that's just harmful for the birds. So that's that. And now what I'm going to do is shake it again. So now we've got that hot and cold water mixture, and the temperature is actually pretty good to put out just like that. Okay, so now the next step is we need to get the feeders in here and get those washed and cleaned so we can put the fresh nectar sugar water in those feeders. Okay, so now I've got all 4 of my feeders in the sink here, and they've got lots of old sugar water in them. They're just not eating as much as I had thought, so that's why I made a lesser solution this time. So now we need to get these emptied. We need to get them washed and cleaned and kind of get them sterilized. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to work on 1 first. Go ahead and get this emptied out. And start rinsing everything out here. It does not take long for mold growth to start on these things. So what I like to use is a toothbrush. I use this toothbrush with some running water, and this really helps to just to get into all these fine grooves and little crevices here. Especially get into these threads right here where things screw together. And then you want to definitely get all the way around the inside of this. Now, sometimes I do use very hot soapy water, but in this case, I just washed these a few days ago with complete soap and water using your Dawn dish detergent here. So I'm not going to do that this time. These things are fairly clean already, but if they are really nasty and filthy and covered in mold and stuff, you are going to want to use some soapy water and really scrub these things well. We do not want to be giving the hummingbirds polluted water, polluted nectar. So definitely get these things nice and clean. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of these, and then we're going to fill them up with the nectar, and we're going to put them back out for the birds. Okay, so all 4 of my feeders are now cleaned, and they are ready to receive nectar. So first thing you're going to want to do is put these bases back together. And what I do is I set a towel off to the side where I can go ahead and put all 4 of my feeders once I fill them up, and then I can carry them outside. Okay, these are all put together. Make sure you rinse them good. Okay, so what we're going to do now, normally when I do my 6 cups of water, I can fill these things just about to the top, and it's perfect for 4 of these feeders. It will fill it all the way to the top. But like I said, it's really too much, and most of it gets thrown away. So I'm going to just not quite go to the top this time. I'm going to go about a third less. So there is 1. Okay, and then once you tip it over, obviously you lose some of that nectar as it goes into the reservoir down below. Okay, that should be good. But using this 2-liter bottle, soda bottle, really works out great for these. And a good little tip is I wrote down the recipe on the water bottle, the 2-liter bottle here. So if I ever forget, it's right there in permanent ink. Okay. All right, we got 1 more to go here. This one's going to go a little bit more because I put a little bit less in the other ones. But at least doing it this way, I'm not storing anything in the refrigerator. I've used it all, and in a couple days, if I make more, I will have just a fresh new batch to put together. Okay, so that is done. Now we're going to go put the hummingbird feeders back outside. Now, if you haven't seen one of my previous videos about how to keep ants out of your feeders, I'll link that in the description. But this little thing right here, this is an ant moat, I guess you would call it. And you actually fill this with water, and it prevents the ants from being able to come down and get into your feeder. I've been using this now for a little while, and it works perfect. Since I have installed these, I have 0 ants now. So definitely worth purchasing, and I will put the purchase link to this item also in the description if you would like to check it out. All right, there's number 2. Here's number 3. And you can see I've got these little ant blocker things on all of my feeders, and they just really, really work well. All right, number 4. So that's going to take care of it, and that's how you do your sugar water nectar recipe for hummingbirds. The birds absolutely love it, and just keep everything nice and clean, and the birds will be happy, and so will you. As always, thanks for watching.